putting too much on the board.
I won't. You're what?
It's gonna bother me if it's like a
Don't, you won't be able to see
Don't
me.
put it on, that's weird.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I'm gonna walk around the room. I'm gonna double check. I'm gonna double check your groups. I want to see that your steps are written down, how you did it. Try to show at least 1 or 2 steps if you can. I want to see some work. Just show something that I can see.
This is the only step I know.
Did I put 2?
Okay,
It's right there. Mine's easier. I'll circle it. We all
I don't like
have the
it.
same answer. It's the correct answer.
See?
Look at it.
Maybe just there.
That's literally what I did.
Okay.
5,
Can I have
Thank you.
So how do you do this one again?
Yeah, now I know. Now it's easy. Now I know. It's not even fair. You're trying to tell me you. I was thinking you
No, wait, I was
What
saying not
did
I think I wrote.
I don't know why that was What shred?
You know what I said? When we graduate, we should review every teacher. Every class. Is it like an honest Play-Doh? I would wreck them. Are you looking at
Yeah. This would be -5.
No, they don't. I could cut my toe off out of it. I would I maybe even give my leg up.
I thought it was my favorite because
you dropped it off.
You did it actually gave me a headache every single day.
I didn't
Every day, 'cause I had it
You're like trying to move it all in one step.
We could like always do that. It's like
It's just like a trick house.
Yeah, because you're actually taking the spot.
Or
Since you have to get 5 minus 1.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's right. Alright, hey, did I check? Did I get everyone's checked?
Yeah.
Okay, here's what you need to do. This is gonna seem a little weird. You're going to send 2 of your group members. 2. Now, if you're only a group of 1, you can only send 1. Okay? So sorry, so if you're in like groups like pairs, you only send 1. You're gonna send them to a completely different group. So pick your 2 volunteers. Go to go.
Cindy, come here.
Oh, me too.
Okay.
She was already here.
Alright. What? I'm just kidding. Go to a new group.
Lucas doesn't like me.
No, you gotta go to a group that has one. So you can make a new group somewhere else. Alright. Now, hey, here's what you're doing. The people who just joined your group have to try the problem you just did. And hey, you don't get to tell them what the answer is. So hide your answer.
Yeah.
So the person who joined your group has to try your problem you just did. Yes. Now, hey, Mara, you can try their problem as well. Like you two can try with their problem.
No, I came here.
Yeah, you came there.
Holy cow, Mr. Wood.
What is your guys' number 2?
So yeah, you're trying their problem, you're trying their problem. Same thing, so you're gonna try his problem, each round. Same thing, you guys switch problems. So you're actually trying their problem, you're trying his.
Or is it over? This was a you subtract a negative from a power.
Is it this?
No, you don't need
I think it's 20 over
It is this.
6x. No, it's not 6x.
Hey, Mr. Warden, you bring, so it's 1.
This was the one who tried to throw it as a
Bring a
curveball.
1 guy.
Different
What's
sauce,
the
right?
one? Isn't this one?
Yeah, we got it.
Hey.
Nailed it.
Cindy doesn't have that.
I did it in my head by making up decimals,
Yes, that's it.
and then I did the 2
That's where
thirds.
Lucas.
Like a third of
I don't know what
1.2.
that
Shouldn't
is.
it be +1?
That's an 8.
Why do you have an 8? It's
1.8.
What's 2/3 minus
Oh,
1?
because
That was the
you
problem.
can't,
2/3
you only
minus 1
eliminate
is
1/3.
1/3. Why wouldn't this be +1? That's what I said.
Why did you not tell us that?
You finally figured it out.
Is this right? They don't have, they didn't.
Yeah, I gotta get rid of
No, it's a negative 1 quadrant.
And this would be a negative 2. Like there's
So I did it right.
5, 6,
And then the ones that are with the bottom.
Yes, that's on the bottom. So you're telling me I'm wrong when I'm
5, 6
right.
is not 0.8.
What did Mr. Ward just say?
It's not, it's like 0.83.
I have 5, 6.
And I don't even think it's that.
Alright, hey,
Okay, so
we
what's
finally
the
found our
start
first
as well?
discrepancy.
4. We're taking
Hey.
2/3 out of this.
So, hey, you have to double check to see, like when you're trying out somebody else's problem, you have to talk them through, because maybe they got it wrong. And you can discuss, we've already found out.
No, listen. What is the factor of 12? 4, right? We're to do that twice.
Alright,
You get eight.
Have you double checked your answers compared to
Divide by 10.
I don't want to see that thing ever again.
You minus one.
Yes, for Joe.
4, and then you have to do it twice because it's 2/3.
I don't show what works.
So another third.
Okay, have you guys double checked your answers?
Yeah, just, yeah, then you have to divide this.
Okay.
We're all good.
Alright, next. Send.
It's fine, stay
Two people to the next
Get
group.
out.
Any two.
What if there's 3 people?
Send two.
Get out.
If your answer is one, you only send one.
Oh, hi there.
Any two, go to a different group.
So I can't
Have
see
you guys
it.
got that already? Which one did you have?
That one and that one.
Holy cow, we have
Yeah, we have 2 different orders.
What do you have?
Now,
Yeah, he has a different, she has a different job.
then just pick one.
number 8.
I'll do mine. You do 7. 7's easy.
So what did you guys have?
7's easy. Do 7.
Somehow calculated.
I'm trying to make it easy on them.
Yeah, which one am I supposed
Okay,
to
so
do?
you guys are succeeding because you're just cheating problems. Start you back in the original group.
Yeah. Whoa, dude, we figured it out.
Totally. Can I
What we did is,
You guys now have the.
Got it.
number 9.
Now you're number 9.
Should I do number 4 or no?
9.
So not
Your word.
Yeah, then you have to, there's.
Both of us. I didn't have mine.
That's 2. Number 2, negative 9 next to 4 is like 4.
Plus one.
No, plus
Put the negative on the bottom.
Is
Maybe it's a hard one. So now all these people like.
I did both of them.
Yes.
That's how it starts.
This is 4, now what do we do? We did 9.
Did 9?
extra 4.
That's like it's wrong.
Wait, extra the 4.
Can you check it for me?
That's like I already started, so.
Yeah, but it's negative.
Oh, you took 4? Oh, yeah. It's supposed to be 6.
Oh, yeah.
Minus
Almost. I'm sure that's the only way to do it.
Mr. Ward, I'm crossing out my answers so I can see them.
And 5
You're gonna have to turn this in, now I can't see your answers, there's a camera.
You're gonna have to figure it out, Ward.
I'm not, I'm kinda wrong.
That's not cool.
Hey, don't cross out your answers.
That's wrong.
They're all doing the same here.
Jared, 20 over X is 6.
Oh my god.
20 over X? All these methods? I said, oh, I was.
No!
Should I give you another one?
Alright,
Oh my goodness, I don't want to.
That's not
I
possible.
rebelled.
It'd be a lot easier.
We're just gonna forget the person doing all of them.
what?
Draw a snowman.
You're taking too long.
That's usually what I do with that answer.
No.
Cheated?
Okay, you guys need more time?
No.
It's me, I know.
Okay, send one,
I'll show home and
send one, send two to a new group.
You too.
That's me.
New group, this is your last group today. Last group.
Number 8.
Now, hey, here's what I want. You're in a new group. Now, if you're totally mixed up, pick one of the problems. If you've done them all, then try a new problem.
There's a desk right there.
Which one did you?
I already did that one.
Okay, you said you 8 or 7.
I don't know. 17.
Yeah. Wait,
18 times 5.
I guess I'll do number 2.
Is it,
Change the
5 over X.
You just.
I always want to change that.
Yeah, he X 17. I just want to do them all. I don't like
Which
that.
one should I do now?
Did you do Did you do final? I don't really need to do that.
That's pretty good to know. That will help you figure out something.
That's right.
I just need to see it's like, whatever.
2 plus 1.
You got him.
Yeah.
What size screwdriver?
Number 1 size.
Are you sure that's nothing you understand with all these teachers?
Number 1
Spelled
5.
great.
Do you guys agree that it's fun?
No.
Is it
They're all not-
9? Yes.
Mr. Ward, I am going a step further.
Divide me out.
I put a that divided by that with the
Actually, I won't.
Look at that.
Okay.
Now, hey,
Mr. Ward, look,
you don't go
you
even
can
further
start
if you
the
didn't correct
problem
on top.
I didn't even read that.
That's too far.
Can I have the 5 or do you
We'll
want
come
to
to you
get
guys
now?
just end up here.
We did a mix.
I did 6.
I know what I'm doing.
I have 4 left. 5 left.
We're doing that.
Back in all right.
We went up 4 to 6.
I always saw these 4 and I forgot about
What other ones did you do? To the fourth?
Oh, I thought it was
Alright,
What number
Yeah,
you
well,
got?
somebody's had that.
alright, hey, if you are done, complete, finish, however you wanna say it.
Go to our.
Make your way back to your desk and have your worksheet in front of you.
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
Hold on to the worksheet.
Justin, I have 3 problem questions. I have a
Yeah, I saw you
but I
at
start on ones that I know how to do.
Does that mean you're gonna be playing basketball this year?
Yes, I did them all.
Do it.
Outside the first day.
Alright,
I saw it, you do it.
now,
I was
okay, here's what I like you to do. Okay, on your paper, 11 and 12, just put it cross 11 and 12 out, don't, like, just cross out the numbers.
Are you serious?
Should I star them because I know how to do that?
Alright, cross those out for right now. Okay, here's what I'd like you to do. I want you to take a look at problem number, what are we on? We're on problem number 10. I want you to look at number 10.
Oh,
Okay, now, hey,
That's a power.
okay,
Same thing.
hey, Reese, say that out loud.
1/4 power.
Good, thank you. Alright, so, what we're looking at is this problem right here. What's the number up front, Reese?
-2.
-2, okay. This function, you have to change that power on the x to a 1/4. Because for radicals, you have to put a 1/4 there, then you can take the first derivative. So now you can drop this 1/4 out front, and you can subtract 1 off the power. Now, when you do that, what's going to happen to the power?
It's gonna get subtracted by 1. It's
Yes.
gonna be a -3/4, so you gotta move it to the bottom.
Okay, so now you're starting to see all the
I thought
different,
you were saying that we don't have to put it in that form.
you don't have to.
I don't
Because,
want to.
alright,
It's a lot easier.
hey, if this is what you get. But what I wanted to talk about today was that some students chose to go further on those problems. It was just, I saw a couple kind of doing it. I know a lot of people get to this step, and you did the correct step, you subtracted 1, you dropped the powers up front. But I want you to see that there's an alternate route to that problem. That you can simplify this problem and move the x to the bottom, and what that would look like.
I don't like that.
Okay, because what that represents, what this represents, is it represents x to the 3rd power all to the 4th root. And you couldn't leave that on the bottom, so you'd have to get rid of it later.
Why do you have 1/4 now?
Oh, sorry, half, what am I doing? Thank you,
Okay.
thank you, thank you. Yeah, I didn't even catch that, thank you. Alright, yeah, it's a half, sorry, apologies. Alright, so I simplified it down, notice it's negative, because you have to drop the power, and it still stay negative out front. But I just wanted you to see that type of problem, because a lot of people don't get to experience the ones with radicals, a lot of you didn't have to, you know, some of you like went on. Alright, if you want to go further and try number 10, 11, you can, I'm not, or sorry, 11 and 12, you can, I'm not requiring it, I cross them out. Okay, what you need to do, if you have not already, because some of you didn't make it to other groups, some of you had the same problems, you guys went back and forth. Your goal here is to do the rest of the problems through number 10, not 11 and 12.
Oh, that's a lot of stuff.
Okay? So, when you are complete, that's the part you're going to hand in. So if you are done, complete, finish, you can turn that in.
Where? Puckles, thank you. Puckles. We're done sucking yesterday.
No, we're not done yet. So notes out, please. Have your notes out.
Do you want to
They give
read
you a
it?
paper
Just sit.
You had to like grade it.
Alright. Okay, make your way back to your original desk, please. Make your way back to the original.
Mr. Ward, they're not finished yet.
Leo. Why did you take my
Wait, are we taking notes?
No.
No, it's not. Found it.
We're supposed to.
Oh, we are supposed to.
Okay, hey, you need your notes out. I'm gonna hand out a handout that you can take notes on.
So I can use my pen?
Yes, chapter 3.
I hate graphics.
First section.
You
We're
were
getting
here in
better.
class,
Mr.
he
Ward,
called
can you
me
tell
out
that's
so
my name?
hard yesterday.
Mr. Ward,
Is this my name? Can you tell that's my name?
And I was telling Ward, I was like, why are we graphing this chapter if we could get it last chapter? He's like, obviously you couldn't tell him by your test. So I was like, oh, I have to write. So it was like so irrelevant. So just to be mean.
If you would have said that to
Alright.
me a little bit.
I was like,
You should start crying.
I should have started crying.
Just 'cause they
Ward, what would you have done if I would have started crying yesterday when you called me out?
laughed at you.
When you were like, yeah, you obviously don't know how to graph based on your test. Yeah, you know when you said that?
I didn't say it.
Yes,
Yeah, you did. MrWard.org would say otherwise.
I didn't post that video yet.
You're gonna edit it out. Crop it and then be like,
Alright, okay.
He's dirty.
Alright, anyway. Okay, on your handout that you have in front of you, what we're going to, if you didn't hear Jane talk about earlier, we're going to try to graph the first derivative again. Now, what we talked about was one strategy is if I gave you the graph in the first place, we could immediately go and graph the functions. Because, let me put an example up here on the board.
Yeah.
So, if I gave you a graph, and this is something like very similar to what you had on your test, you had a problem that was like this. And that was the original function, and we had to go graph the first derivative of it. Okay, where on this side, all the slopes are negative, and they eventually turn out to be zero.
They're
So,
positive.
okay,
I know
so,
that.
and yeah, so say it. So,
Positive.
no.
Negative.
Negatives.
No, I was saying it goes positive after that.
Oh, yes, okay, so, the slope on the slope on the left side is negative, so these would be all negative numbers going up to zero. Because these are just negative fractions leading up to zero slope, because zero slope is when it's horizontal. So it leads up to zero. This is the first derivative graph.
Wow.
And next, when you go to the right, what numbers are you hitting?
Positive.
Positives on the other side. Because now the slopes turn out to be positive on this side. So your graph would go this way. Okay, that's a first derivative graph. We did that in the last chapter, but here's the problem. I didn't give you the graph. I gave you the function that's in front of
That
you.
is a problem.
That is a problem.
Yeah, we don't know how to do that yet.
Here's what I want you to do.
That's easier.
Find the first derivative right now. You just did it
Already
about
did it.
10 different times on a piece of paper.
Try hard.
Find the first derivative right now. I would like a volunteer to walk up when you're ready, and I want the first derivative on the board. Justin, you say you want to volunteer?
I heard Justin say it. Justin said it.
Justin
Can I do it?
volunteered. That's right.
Let Nicole do it.
Okay, Nicole,
Go!
come on up.
Nicole got so excited.
I love her.
There you
I'll do the
I'm really
next
dizzy.
Tell me what the next
There
one.
you go. Mr. Ward, I'll do the next one.
go. Okay.
Success.
Who?
This is second derivative. I didn't even realize that.
All right.
I couldn't see, I couldn't read it.
That was
The backside. Oh, that's easy. You just do the same
Did
thing.
Are you ready?
you just take a block of iron, lick it?
I chewed on it every day.
Ooh, that's much not that good.
All right. Hey, that was good?
Good for you.
All right, so Nicole, walk me through it. What did you do?
I times 2 by 3.
Multiply.
Multiply.
You multiplied? Okay.
Yeah, and then I subtracted 1 from the squared.
Okay.
And then I multiplied 4 by 1, and I subtracted 1 from the next.
And what happened to the one in the back?
It just goes away. It's by 0.
This is a 0. Okay, it goes away when you take the first derivative. All right. Now, what you're left with?
I got it.
Okay. Hey, that was very nice. Very nicely done. Now, can I have another volunteer before drawing?
Second derivative. Second derivative.
No.
Oh,
Oh. Went too far.
Too far. Too far.
Too soon, Sydney.
Jump with the gun.
Black Klansman.
Yeah, man. I think that.
Can we watch a movie instead?
That's one.
Well, I'll probably all the
Let's
fake
watch the
singers.
Black
No.
Yeah, those
Those
people
are
that
too.
play Little Big
Madison
Sing.
Williams was streaming music.
Some people, I tell ya.
Let's watch
The
Halloween.
Little Big Sing. I have
What?
never gamed on my Chrome.
I was very
before.
Are you kidding?
No, I was.
All right.
I got them
Okay,
all done.
all right.
I just don't know how to
Hey. Real quick. When you look at this function right here that Nicole just came up with.
MX plus B.
Wow.
I said
All right.
Did you
Now.
say that a little bit ago?
MX plus B. You already said it. All right. That's good. Now, what is that?
That's a
slope.
It's slope.
Physics.
Okay. All right.
Science.
Why are you so
Calculus.
Justin,
Math.
can you draw? Because I know you
Yes. Justin, keep going.
I can.
Yeah, you
All right.
can.
No, I didn't.
Oh, yeah, you did. Come on up. All right, good. I like the volunteer. All right. Just drawing the line. Just drawing
On
the
this
line.
graph?
Yeah, come on.
Okay.
Yes, you
Yeah.
better believe it.
No.
No,
No, you
up.
Down?
No, down, not up. It's like, you know, the y-axis.
Okay.
I can't count.
It's a hard scale.
Good, good. Alright, now we're going up 6.
And up 6 in.
All for 1.
Good. Which direction? Right or left?
The right.
Right.
The right.
Okay, right.
Do I need to graph this?
Okay,
on
I'm
this
just
thing?
gonna go like this. Good.
All right.
This kind of goes down like that way too.
Oh.
All right, good. Now, hey, very nicely done. So both people that volunteered, thank you. Now,
You're welcome.
what you just did, you just drew the first derivative graph and got it exactly right. Because what happens here? If we were to actually draw this quadratic, the quadratic is actually curved, it would have gave you the same results that Jane just did in a few seconds. It would give you negative numbers leading up to some number right up here by the x-axis. Then it would go to 0 and it would go to positive numbers. That was very nice to
We're gonna have
know.
to do like 6x cubed in my.
Yeah. So eventually we're gonna have to draw the polynomial. So this is gonna fall into the same territory of what we did the last chapter, where we have to figure out what are the intercepts, what are the where are the turning points, the y-intercepts, all that good stuff. Okay, number 2. Problem number 2.
What?
Find the first derivative, please.
Got it.
Question number 2.
Wait, of what? Oh.
I
Problem
already
number
did it,
2.
don't worry.
Okay. First derivative. Problem number 2. Try it out.
I'm nervous.
See, that's what you do for
Yes.
Did you get this or?
Can I go write it on the board?
I want to write on the board.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. Right up on the board the whole thing.
I thought Jake won
So all of it?
Wait, can I do it?
You can write the, I'll write the other one
How
and you
about you
write the
tell me what to
derivative.
write? How about you tell me what to write?
What? No, I'll write the thing and you write the derivative.
You just found it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I write it.
She's right.
She's writing it.
Oh.
She's writing like the problem, you're writing the derivative.
Nice. Hey, hey. Oh, what are we doing? What are you doing?
Writing it!
Oh, okay. Double team ever? How did you do the whole time?
Well, I was gonna, but then he started complaining, so I let him do that second.
No! Stop!
What?
What is he doing?
He's writing.
Alright, stop. My OCD's gonna move now.
Now write the last part really small.
I said my OC is gonna go nuts.
What is that? What is that?
What is that last thing in the back? What is that?
You know, sometimes you make a four like whoop, whoop.
Oh, like that. I like the sound of that. Alright. Okay, alright. Very nicely done.
No
Now,
one does that.
hey, the question that we had earlier. How do you suddenly graph when it's a square? I would actually like Tyler. Can you come up here and do that?
No, I'll do it.
Tyler, I will
It's
help
like
you.
this.
Tyler, you had a really good answer, and it was correct. Can you?
Sucks.
Now, can you volunteer? All right, hey, can you at least walk me through the parentheses? What you did?
Oh, he did that.
Did he factor?
Yeah.
No one likes it. It's a parabola.
Then our answer, so she knows what it
Okay.
is.
All right. No,
I
no,
don't
no.
know anything.
I just want to know your parentheses, though. What do you have?
3x minus 2
Okay.
and x plus 2.
Good. Now, he factored correctly. It does give him the right answers in the middle. Now, why he did that? Because what were those numbers representing for you?
X-intercept.
Yeah. Which was 2/3
Yeah.
and
-2.
-2. All right, and it is a parabola. The reason why I know it's a parabola, it's got a power of 2 for graph. So it is curving. Now, what was the next number that we found?
-4.
-4 is
Y-intercept.
the y-intercept. Because when you factor things apart, that gives you x-intercepts. That's nice, you can factor that thing up. If you couldn't factor, it's almost borderline impossible to do that. The next thing is that y-intercept, and Drosky, talk me through how do you figure it out with
Plug in
-4?
0.
Yeah, you just plug in 0 to everything, so you're hitting -4.
Hey, it's yeah, like that.
Yeah. Now, hey, what you just did, you just figured out the first derivative graph, and you didn't even have to think too hard about it. So,
I didn't think at all.
alright, not too bad. Now, the next one. That gets a little more challenging
How are we
today.
gonna grab that? We
It
only
is-
want 12.
It does have bigger numbers. I don't know if we'll be able to actually graph this on a graph. We might have to change the scale.
You
Would it be 0?
That's actually against the law.
Can you not do that?
Fine, we can go up by 18.
So-
So, 18?
It'll be
Yeah.
y equals
Yeah,
x.
it'll be off the graph for those
Zero,
first
zero,
ones.
We're
zero.
choosing to go by 18s.
Wait, why is that
Yeah,
hard then?
it'll be off the graph. It'll change the scale so it works.
We're gonna change the scale to
18
18s.
18
Yeah,
slope,
you can
and
do
y
that.
equals 0?
Every die doing
I know, but I
it.
have people were saying.
Okay, you can do it.
X right here, buddy.
You want to draw it?
No, I want to volunteer to come up here and write the derivative.
Oh,
I'll do it.
Yeah?
That sounds pretty
All right.
You write the problem.
All right, the problem?
I can do it. I'll write the problem.
What's 0
I'll write the
No,
problem.
say.
No, wait, you write the problem because you have the better hand.
All right. I'm gonna walk around the room, double check, because I know a lot of people already have it.
How'd you know that?
Okay, I think everyone's already got the first derivative on that third one.
Thank you, Mr. Wolf.
More.
Mr.
We're on
Ward,
the
it is
third one,
incredible how
I went to the second version.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
it's fantastic.
I would say that What are we doing to show X? I can't factor it like I'm just one over here.
There we go.
This turned out really cool.
That's okay.
This is
Follow
steep
myself
slope,
over
right?
a dollar.
Yeah, it's super steep. That's why I said we have to set the scale to make sure we can actually fit the.
I can set X as 18, then it's 1 to 1.
She's gonna graph it.
All right, you're gonna graph. You want to erase the one I have. All right,
Go by
perfect.
twos.
All right, and Jake, I want that comment you said earlier.
Go by 18.
What?
I want that comment you just said.
Go by
Yeah, go by
18.
18.
Go by
This
18.
way and one this way.
Go ahead.
1 to 1.
What is this?
You guys have to help me.
Now just draw the y equals x, straight 45 degree angle.
54 what? 72.
Why are you going so far?
90.
All right, keep
90.
connecting them diagonally. Stop there. Just keep going.
108. Okay, go. I hate you.
All right,
Stop it.
All right, stop there.
Just keep going.
All right,
126.
all right, good. Okay, now.
No, that was
We changed the scale to make sure it worked, because my graphs only got to -12, so we had to go, so Nicole changed it to 18s. 18's up, I think you're going 1 across in the x-axis.
Yes.
You wanna label those, at least the first couple, just so we know they're going by ones. Okay, now, Jane, I want you to say the comment you said earlier.
I hate graphing.
No, no, no. No, not that one, what's the other comment you said? What about the slope?
It's steep.
It's super steep. Now, by changing the scale, hey, you're starting to see it right now, when we interpret data, by changing the scale, she knew it was super steep, but look how Nicole's problem looks. When you change the scale on a graph, it does change the look.
216.
This is something you need to be worried about when they start putting,
Worried?
when they start displaying numbers in like newspapers and on TV, is that they can change the scale on the graph and they can show whatever they want. Because you're starting to see it. You're seeing that it should have been steep, but if we change the scale, that does change the look of the graph so it doesn't look as menacing. Okay?
But it's
So-
just zoomed in a little bit.
Do you think they're trying to deceive us?
54, 72.
Well, the graph, you need to be worried about when you actually.
Mr. Ward, they're
26.
teaching us fake news.
No, no fake news.
144.
Alright, alright.
62.
Oh, you're good.
No!
It's the same number.
No, keep going, keep going. 180. 198.
I can't wait till later.
216.
The fact. Alright.
You're just gonna erase it though.
I am gonna erase
No,
about
don't
2
erase
seconds.
it. She did so
We have to
good.
do it
Yeah,
back.
Okay, hey, here's what I'd like you to do. Okay, turn over your page. You do not have to graph right now. What I'd like you to do for the next 4 minutes, figure out the second derivatives of those problems in the back.
Second
You already did? Good.
How about the first?
Second.
I know.
Second derivatives.
Happy birthday. Or we'll be out of here by then.
Alright.
I don't like how you capitalize this
That's
S.
like overword. Mr. Ward, if you had to pick one, they
No,
would be
stop. Stop.
out.
No random questions. Alright, second derivative. Now, what is required to find the second derivative? You
First derivative.
gotta find the first, then you gotta go one step further and find the second.
Holy cow.
So,
Find a third and go one
second
step.
derivative.
What if you know how to grab every one except for the first one?
First one
Did we get
was
those
power
things?
cube, Carl.
Yeah, it's squared, but power of cube.
No factors to it.
Yeah.
Wow.
You do have an X, couldn't you?
No, there's no X.
Easy peasy lemon.
Oh,
What?
yeah.
Wait.
What? I was
No, there's not.
No, there's no. That one, you
Just
could,
plug in numbers and point plot.
you could do the quadratic formula if you want, like, you could put a 0x.
Do you know the song for the quadratic formula?
No, do
I'm
not.
sitting here pausing.
You know I don't like that song. Why would you like
I
it?
didn't know
It's a
that.
great way to teach.
I remember it.
I learned to do that.
My throat
Here,
itches.
let me do the last one.
Itching.
Okay.
Now,
Just go for it.
hey, I know a lot of you are getting down to second derivatives. Let's take a look at the first one. Reese, what did you notice about the first one again?
There's no X term.
Yeah, when you're actually doing that second derivative on the first one, what was it? 12x squared minus 10?
That's the second derivative. Yeah.
Second derivative. Okay, if you're to try to graph this second derivative, you can't factor it apart unless you're going to go with decimals idea. You can do difference of squares, but here's what it's going to look like. Different squares will be plus minus. You're going to have root 10,
Oh,
10,
God.
because you actually have to break that up evenly, and then you take the square root of 12,
Like this one.
the square root of 12, the square root of 12. So those, now, you can do that, and if you have the decimals on your calculator, you can go graph whatever those x-intercepts are. Okay, that would be one way at least to get around the graph.
Can you take
I
out
grabbed
two?
Okay, what?
Take out two.
You can take out a 2
I'm gonna grab.
to make the number smaller, but at some point there'll still be decimals you're going to still have to
I
do.
just point plotted.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's right.
So,
So do we need
alright.
to do this?
Yeah.
No, for right now, I wanted to make sure that second derivatives are done. Make sure your name's on it. Do not get rid of this graph. We're going to keep it for tomorrow. If you're one that is tending to lose things, I will hold on to it for you tomorrow.
We can keep mine.
Okay, because we're going to talk about one approach you can take to get to that second derivative threat.
I will not be in class.
Okay, good now, check online if you will. You'll have a small.
Did you just give me your physics paper?
Was that?
But then other than that,
I didn't get.
more hours.
Oh, I'm paying them with my
It's somewhere on there.
Okay,
It's not a
There you go.
You did
I'm gonna lose all of these, I hope you know.
Thank you.
thank you, thank you.
I don't wanna rush you.
Yeah, so.
This is not the door.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't see it every day.
I've got nothing over with answer.
I typed your name into YouTube, that's how it's awesome.
Oh, golly. Why are you guys all in here?
Sleepy
Learning from the best,
I'm just trying to.
Mr. Ward.
Know it. I'll probably just scare him off like, oh my gosh, I can't get out of here fast enough.
What are you doing in here?
I don't want to talk to you right now. I'm still mad at you.
I can tolerate that. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I don't think
Do
you
you
can
hate
tolerate it.
Justin?
Justin? No, I don't hate him.
Do you like Vicky or Lucas more?
That's like that.
Get out of here. Look like you're living.
I can't